Welcome to the Prophecy Club, where we study and research Bible prophecy. Our topic for this segment is evolution, foundation for the Antichrist. We know that the Antichrist is coming, and most of us believe that he's alive these days. But how is it that some man could come in and rule the world for 3.5 years? He has to be standing on a foundation of lies. And we believe part of that foundation is evolution. Our speaker tonight is one of America's best on that topic. He has 15 years service as a science teacher. He has a doctorate in 7 years. For the last 7 years, he's been going across America, speaking out about evolution versus creation. And in that time, he's had 27 debates, never having lost one. Been on some 2,000 radio programs. He's booked 2 years in advance to speak. He speaks over 700 times a year. Will you help me welcome Dr. Kent Holvind?
Thank you, brother. All right. Well, it is good to be here this evening. As you mentioned, my name's Kent Holvind, has been for quite a while. I was a high school science teacher 15 years, and now talk about creation, evolution, and dinosaurs. If this is the only session you're getting to see, you've already missed a whole bunch of material. We've talked about in the first couple of sessions, and you can get all my stuff on videotape. We talked about the age of the Earth. You know, the Bible teaches the Earth is only about 6,000 years old. The evolution view says it's billions of years old. Somebody is wrong. And the Bible would indicate that dinosaurs lived with Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. They were just part of the normal creation. And so for the first 1,600 years of human history, things were very different before the flood came. Things were huge. We cover all that on videotape. And number one, about why the people used to live to be 900 and all this kind of thing, and how dinosaurs fit in. But tonight I want to share with you what the theory of evolution has done for the world. There is no question the kids are being taught evolution in the textbooks. That's without question. But what is it doing for the world? And why? And who's behind all this? Is there a smoke-filled room someplace where we can go, find the people that are in charge of this? I think it's much higher than that. There probably are a lot of smoke-filled rooms and conspiracies, no question, but this is Satan versus God. Yeah. Even those folks in those smoke-filled rooms trying to have their little conspiracy, they don't even fully comprehend the real battle and what's going on. The problem is people have rejected God's authority. They don't want God to reign over them. It started with Lucifer in the Garden of Eden. Lucifer, Satan, came to Eve in the Garden of Eden, and he said to the woman, "Yea, hath God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?" First thing he said was a question in Genesis chapter 3. The second thing he said was, "Ye shall not surely die," calling God a liar. And the third thing Satan said to Eve, he said, "Ye shall be as gods." Satan started this lie that man can become like God. And it's a lie, and that's really evolution in a nutshell. Ye shall be as gods. That's where the whole idea got started. It started with Satan. It didn't start with Charlie Darwin. It started with the devil. Actually, he's the one who wants to be God. Lucifer wants to be God. Isaiah 14, Lucifer said, "I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." See, the devil wants to be God. But the job is not available. So he's all upset about that. And he can't be God. So he's mad at God. But he can't do anything to God. So he's mad at us because we are made in God's image. See, that's why the devil hates you. You remind him of God. He hates humanity, period. He wants to destroy the human race. Financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually, every way he can, he wants to destroy everything about what God has made. So you have to look at this from a heavenly perspective before you're going to comprehend what on earth is happening. What is going on? Satan said, "I want to be like the Most High." And he started a rebellion against God about 6,000 years ago. And we could trace the history of this long war against God. There's a tremendous book by Henry Morris, a good friend of mine in California, who's the president of the Institute for Creation Research, If you want to get that book, you can call 619-448-0900. Get their catalog from ICR. Great material. Best book on the history of the evolutionary theory that I've seen is that one. But this is really Satan versus God. There have been different groups down through history that have come to the forefront and, you know, taken over for Satan or tried to work with Satan very closely, and there are some today doing the same thing. We could talk about how the Babylonians had an early form of evolution taught, you know, that they thought they were going to become like God. And there have always been people who taught this evolution theory. But it's a philosophy that is destructive. Satan comes and disguises himself like an angel of light. I'm here to help you. Eve, how would you like me to show you how you can become like God? God's hiding something from you, Eve. He knows that if you eat the tree, off that tree, you can become like God. Satan lied to her, and she fell for it. Adam came along and realized what she'd done, and Adam voluntarily became sin to save Eve, just like Christ voluntarily became sin to save us. He knew what he was doing. Adam knew what he was doing. Eve was deceived, it tells us in 1 Timothy. Adam wasn't deceived. But Satan disguises himself like a messenger of light. Hey, I'm here to help you, Eve. I think Satan is using this evolution philosophy to lead millions to hell. Countless millions over the last 6,000 years have gone to hell because Satan has deceived them. See, evolution is not science. It's a philosophy. It's a way of life. The Bible warned us, a way of looking at life. The Bible warned us in Colossians chapter 2 to beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. You see, what you believe determines how you behave. Your philosophy is extremely important. And there's only two choices. Either there is a God or there isn't. If there is a God, we better find out who he is and what he wants and do what he says. If there is no God, then how do you decide what's right and wrong? Evolution is a philosophy that allows man to psychologically get rid of God where he can become God. He decides if it's right or wrong. You need to be cautious about your philosophy because the evolution philosophy, if you really follow it through and think about it, it changes your whole way of looking at the world. You see, if evolution is true, man is just an animal, right? Just a higher animal, that's all we are. And animals would have the same rights that we do. Animal rights activists, huh? That comes from their philosophy of evolution, folks. If evolution is true, only the strongest have a right to survive. The weakest should be eliminated. Don't you pull the weeds out of your garden? If you believe in evolution, maybe these weaker, inferior humans should be eliminated. Ah, I see where that would lead in a short time. If evolution is true, might makes right. You're the strongest, you got the right to rule the world. King of the jungle. Inferiors should be eliminated. One of the races of humans must be superior to the rest. Isn't that a normal following or corollary to the evolution theory? Oh, yeah. Protection of the world and the environment is our duty because we have evolved the farthest. We need to save the planet. Flows right from the same philosophy. There are no absolutes about right and wrong. Professors sometimes say that when I do debates at universities. They'll say, there are no absolutes. I say, are you absolutely sure? If there are no absolutes, how can you be so sure? By the way, I tell them, if your brain is nothing but a collection of chemicals that got together by random chance over billions of years, how can you trust your thoughts and your reasoning process? Wow, think about that one. How do we decide what's right and wrong? I spoke at a public school. I get into lots of public schools. I did about 100 last year. I spoke at a public school in Pennsylvania. The auditorium would only hold 300. We had 900 kids, so they brought them in 3 shifts for me. One of the groups came in. A kid sat on the second row, a senior at the high school. He said, Mr. Holvind, I'm an atheist. I said, really? He said, yep, there is no God. I said, well, let me ask you a question, son. Do you know everything? He said, well, no, of course not. I said, well, do you know half of everything?